Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide, and in today's video we are checking out the Boox Go 6. Go Boox 6. Seriously? This is Go? How? Why? Alright, so this is the Boox Go 6, even though it is clearly a poke device. So what is it? Well, it is the latest installment and the latest and the greatest installment of the Boox's portable 6-inch dedicated reader devices. So this is a reader only, not note-taking capable device, so it doesn't have a Wacom EMR layer on it, and it's basically just like packed to the brim with the latest stuff that Boox has to offer and the latest hardware that Boox is putting into their devices. So new screen, new internals, new basically everything in a very old and boring housing design, but it's basically like a sleeper of a device. So let's start with the design. Very quick overview, nothing new here at all. This is the now 4, 5, 6-year-old design that we've had. The housing pretty much almost identical that we've had so far, but the design decisions from Poke 3, well, Poke 4, the white version was nice, and then Poke 5 introduced this kind of bland, boring, all black, and that's pretty much it. So Go 6 continues that tradition, and we have the kind of soft, good plasticky feel, but softish kind of plastic on the back with the Boox logo and a line here. The front is absolutely nothing, just black frame all around, flush screen to the surface, and that's pretty much it. As far as the device layout goes, on the top we have the power button with the LED indication as well, nothing on either of the sides, and on the bottom you have the microSD card slot and the USB-C for data communication, charging, OSB UTG, USB to 3.5-inch audio connector. Like anything that you want, you can stick it in there and it will just work. That's basically an indication of just why I characterize it as a sleeper device, because its specifications and its capabilities far outweigh the price range and also the small, naive kind of design and the outer look of the device. The screen on this device is actually fairly impressive, and the brightness of the screen is something that I react to every single time I interact with this device, and basically it always kind of forces me to check, is the front light on? Because maybe it's just that the black frame is there and the screen is whiter, but the overall combination is that the whiteness of the screen on the Go 6 is really, really impressive. And it's just something that feels properly different than I've had it on other devices. Whether or not this is an optical illusion, as I said, because of the black frame, or it's a combination of things, I'm not really sure, but that is the impression that I get. The sharpness is actually really, really good, but the out-of-the-box settings of the Neo Reader are not that good. What do I mean? Well, there are a couple of things to kind of keep in mind. You need to turn off the text enhancement because that makes a bolder kind of text rendering, but it makes it just more messier and more imprecise. And also make sure that the contrast is all basically turned off. And finally, make also sure that in the e-ink center, the dark color enhancement and light color filter are also down to 0. Once you have those types of settings, then you will have the optimal quality, and then you will see what the screen is actually capable of, and it's actually capable of doing something quite impressive, which is on a tiny format like a 6-inch that's here, and with super tiny fonts that you have in this document. Let's zoom in so that you can see how it renders them. So I am now fully zoomed in, and you really have to keep in mind, like for scale, this is my finger, just how small these fonts are, but they are perfectly readable and you can just discern them in a really good way. The rendering of the images is also really nice, and the grayscale, the way it actually manages grayscale, is also really good. But as I've shown in the unboxing and first impressions, I think that I need to show that here as well, because this is one of the major benefits or strong points of this device, which is that yes, it's 6 inches and yes, it's small. And initially, no matter how clearly it renders these things, these characters are too small and maybe you won't be able to see them. But that doesn't necessarily matter because of the flexibility of the eReader. Now, one of the big cons of this device is that it does not have auto rotation. It doesn't have a G sensor. I really don't get it. Why would it not have a G sensor? Because it's really needed. But if I switch the device into a landscape mode and I enter the fit with mode, then the rendering and the display of a previously unusably small document suddenly becomes perfectly usable. This is something that you can normally use, and it doesn't really require any extra effort, and having this wider edge here, it just lends itself really nicely to actually read this. The flexibility that is offered by such a small device in such a small footprint is, I think, a really important one to keep in mind. The screen is easily capable to deliver really nice image quality renderings here. Again, you need to kind of remember to set the settings here, and in style or contrast, I believe, you need to turn on image smoothing, because without image smoothing turned on, you will get this dithering, which is not nice. So for that to kind of go away, you turn on image smoothing and then it looks pretty good. The ghosting performance here, when you're looking at it, it's going to be absolutely perfect, but you can see quite considerable blinking as well, right? So that's quite a lot of stuff that's happening. Let me just fit this so that it's not so let's fit it on the screen. There we go, that it's not fit with, but it's actual. There we go. And this is something that I've also set up to ensure the best rendering quality. And the way that I've set it up is that I've went to use Regal refresh mode, full refresh rate on every single action, and I'm using full refresh depth mode. So this is basically the settings that you need to have if you want as good as possible for the device to basically offer you the rendering quality. Obviously, being in eReader, you don't have the regular e-ink speed modes. This is the e-ink speed modes are the ones that are set up here in the app. By default, your setting is going to be more something like this. And the best option that you're gonna get here is going to give you some ghosting. So for example, in these situations, there you go, you're definitely gonna have ghosting, but that is because the default settings are made in such a way that they simply are not doing the depth refresh mode. Obviously, if you go to faster modes, you will get much faster performance, but you will get image resolution degradation, and you will get definitely ghosting that's piling up more and more as you go along. However, the performance is absolutely there, and if we just want to test out the performance itself, then I'm just going to completely eliminate full refresh rate, and now we should be able to indefinitely just kind of tap this along, and yeah, it performs well, but I would expect more consistency. It's not really that consistent. See how it's kind of forgetting things, but you can clearly see the accumulation of ghosting when you have faster performance. But should you need the fast performance, this device is able to actually provide. And let's not forget that this being a Google Play enabled device, you can download Kindle, you can download Kobo, and you can use those and use your libraries and read them on this device as well. So it's not locked, so you can use ebooks, you can use PDFs, you can use Kobo, you can use Kindle, you can use library apps, anything that you want on a regular Android, you can do it on the Boox Go 6 as well. And that is a tremendous level of flexibility that other e-readers in this format or price range can't really compete with. Front light on the Poke 5 was a really bad one, at least on the unit that I was testing. I don't know if it was a dud or not, but this is thankfully definitely not the case with the Go 6, as the front light has a very uniform type of look, as you can see here, and the performance is really good. So you have a very good range of intensity, so this is the maximum range, and you can also control the color, so you can have the cold color or the blue color, and you can have the warm color here. And as you can see, I think the camera can pick up, there's basically virtually no color bleed of any kind, and usually this is in the warm light, this is where you would see it, and the uniformity is quite nice. So I think that this is an improvement, and I think that this is the best front light that the Poke series has ever had, and you are able to kind of dial it into this kind of really nice whitish type of light that is just really remnant of the qualities that I've seen on the Kobo and Kindle devices, and this is the first time that I've seen that on a Boox device. The intensity range is nice and flexible, and you can dial it in just right, like you want to. And the cool thing about it is that it doesn't really wash out the content or anything like that. It just kind of complements it, and the blacks remain kind of black, and it doesn't lose contrast depending on how much intensity you give. So I think that all around it's a really good performing front light and complements the device and makes it even more versatile. Despite the device having brand new internals and really impressive specs on the sheet, unfortunately currently in the current OS version that doesn't really translate well to the real world performance, and basically everything takes a bit of time to kind of work with it. Okay, the refresh rate, that's a different kind of thing. That's as I've shown. Within a document, the operations are perfectly fine. So I can normally access this, but it's kind of slowish and sluggish, but that you can improve with the refresh rate, right? So you can go to a faster mode and then it will be okay. So in Ink Center, I could go to speed mode and then it's going to be better. But the other thing is that sometimes it just can become way too sluggish. There you go. So this was like, and then display this. Then, I don't know. There's something about this kind of normal refresh mode that's just not there. It's like, it's sluggish in a way. So I found myself that I would resort to using the speed mode much more often, and then you get a better indication of basically what the performance of the device is. But even here you can see how things are a little bit delayed. There we go. So storage took a little bit to actually get to the point. So yeah, I'm not really convinced that in the performance aspect of the device. I don't know if it is the lack of RAM that's kind of hogging it down, or it's the state of the OS. But what I can definitely say with 100% certainty is that even though on paper the Go 7 and the Go 6 should perform just about the same, in reality, for some reason, they don't. And hopefully that's something that a performance update on the Go 6 can amend, because if they get that to basically be a bit better, then I think that this is going to be a full-on, really great, all-around portable little e-reader. And finally, the cover for the Go 6, it's simple yet elegant, and it just does its job really well because it's magnetic, it's a strong magnet. You just place the device in, and then presto, you have protection for the screen of your device and your device itself, and it's held extremely securely. Like, you really need to do extreme things to get the magnets to kind of let go. So in normal kinds of use of case scenarios, in your bag, in your pocket, or wherever, this flipbook cover is yeah, definitely going to protect your device. And not only that, it actually feels really nice in a hand. And although it's a little bit on the thicker side of things, but you know, it's protecting your device. I guess that's the main purpose of it. It doesn't really add too much to the bulkiness of the overall package. I think that it just makes it into this really nice kind of back pocket kind of a thing that just feels quite good. Boox Go 6, well, let's call it for what it is. It's Poke 6. They just slapped on Go for whatever reason, but in all honesty, this is just Poke 6. So what is the device like? Well, I was always a fan of the 6-inch design, and this one follows up in a good way, and I think that it works in a really good way. I'm not going to go through the whole list of pros and cons. I'm just going to give you a summary of the whole thing. I think that this is one of the most versatile readers, small portable e-readers out there on the market today. It's not the cheapest, but for the money, it does offer the biggest amount of versatility because it has a tremendous amount actually going for it. First of all, I would start with the screen itself, and this is one of the sharpest and brightest screens that the 6-inch readers Poke series have ever had. So Boox Poke 5 was a dud as far as I'm concerned. This one actually corrects a lot of the things from there. So the screen is better, the front light is better, the performance is better, the specifications are better. It does have a microSD card slot. So it's basically learning from the entire Poke series and trying to encapsulate all of the experience that Boox have learned with that kind of line of devices and encapsulate them and make it into like the ultimate Poke device, and they are gonna call it Go. Okay, whatever. So that, I think, is what Go 6 is. It really is like the best iteration and version of their 6-inch e-readers. What are the negatives? There's only one meaningful negative that I can actually give this, and that is that despite it having actually good internals, the performance is quite sluggish. And I don't fully understand why, because it doesn't really make too much sense. I've seen other devices, for example, Go 7 is way more interactive and snappy and responsive than the Go 6 is. So maybe the state of the OS is currently not up to par, and hopefully that's something that I optimized, but that is something that I reacted to. Other than that, I really haven't encountered a single other dedicated negative aspect that I could attribute to the device itself. Now, general negative aspects that can be attributed to the complexity of the Boox platform and all of these kinds of things, that, of course, this is a Boox device, so, you know, it inherently carries those. But yeah, as a device kind of specific negatives, that's the only one that I can think of, and the other one is purely cosmetics. I think that it's incredibly boring, like unbelievably boring and uninspiring. And for me, the small device that needs to be with me needs to have personality, and for me this has zero personality whatsoever. However, this is a purely subjective type of take, but yeah, I wanted to share that as well. The rest of the stuff, I love the screen, I love the screen quality, I love the image quality, I love the platform itself, I love that you can have Kindle, that you can have Kobo, that you can have audiobooks on it, that you can hook up your Bluetooth headphones to it, that you can listen to Spotify on it if you want, while you're maybe reading or typing something, that you can hook up a keyboard to it and you can type along in your Google documents or whatever, that you can maybe browse if you want. Like, it's incredible versatility in this small package, and that is a powerful combination. Alright, so that's it from me. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you found it informative. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!